Hello, everyone. We're here with Ryan Huebsch running for the 94th Assembly District. We're here at the Chamber of Commerce. He's gracious enough to come here and answer some of the questions we have for him today.
Yeah, my name's Ryan Huebsch, running for the 94th Assembly District. I was born and raised here in West Salem, and living on Alaska now. Went to school through West Salem K through 12, and went to University of La Crosse. Went to Tech for a year. I've been here almost my entire life. I worked in Madison for a couple of years for the senators, nice. Senator Fitzgerald, who's now Congressman Fitzgerald, and Senator Wimberger in the Green Bay area. So that gave me a lot of experience and know the nitty gritty of what actually happens down in Madison. And came back and actually worked on Dan Kapanke's campaign, nice. Who's a really good friend of mine, and I'm proud to have his endorsement as well. But, just working through all that, I got a lot of the experience of what to do and what not to do when, if it's politically or when I get down to Madison. But now, after losing 2 years ago, coming up just short, just a couple hundred votes, it gave me the opportunity to do what my day job is now, and I work a nonprofit. I run a nonprofit here called the Conservative Energy Network here in Wisconsin. Okay. So we work with advocating for clean and renewable energy and the all of the above approach to energy, the portfolio for here in Wisconsin. So okay. Nuclear energy, wind, solar, all of the above. And that's really opened my eyes to a lot of the how utilities work and how energy works here in Wisconsin. So that really opened up my eyes to a lot of things that we need to do here in Wisconsin and move forward. So absolutely.
So you touched a little bit on my first question about tell us about yourself. Yeah. But also why are you running? Why are you running for state assembly?
Yeah, I'm running to put us back on the map. Here in Western Wisconsin, and when I said I worked down in Madison, I got to see firsthand that Western Wisconsin is an afterthought to Madison, Milwaukee, the Fox River Valley, even maybe even a little Eau Claire. But we are an afterthought to anything that happens down there. When the decisions are being made, we don't have that seat at the table. Now, I think you just talked to Lauren Oldenburg, a good friend of mine. He's done a good job, but he's just to the south and now just got into the La Crosse area with redistricting. It's unfortunate that we just haven't had that representation. We've missed out on so many projects. Actually, I just got a tour of Prairie Springs Phase 2 at UW La Crosse. That is a very important project that I've heard from several business owners around here. Quick Trips, festivals, they're looking for people to come from UW La Crosse, and it's going to produce really good students. And so projects such as that have been sitting in waiting since 2011, actually. Yeah. It's just unfortunate to see that and put us and I'm passionate about this area. Growing up here, I'm just passionate about this area and making sure that we're back on the map in Western Wisconsin, from Western Wisconsin down to Madison is my number one goal. And I told them already, I told them I'm going to be loud. When I get there, I'm going to kick some doors down and they're going to get annoyed at me, but
that's good.
Yeah.
So Ryan, tell us about the district that you are running to represent. The 94th has changed a little bit since last time you ran to represent it. So tell us about the new map.
Yeah, I'm proud to be here from the 94th. And like you said, with redistricting, we used to have all of this, or La Crosse County, except the city of La Crosse. Now we see we're in West Salem, Onalaska, Holmen, and Galesville and Ettrick, and all of the surrounding towns in there. And it goes to show we have such a diverse area, and I love to be from this area when I talk to people down in Madison, because you either have very urban or very, very, very out in the country. And they don't have that here. We have a very diverse with great businesses, great farms, great schools. You have some of the best healthcare providers here in the entire country, actually. It is awesome to be such from a diverse in a business aspect, a diverse area of Wisconsin, and we like to call it God's country for a reason. It's gorgeous here, right?
Yes, it is. So what do you think the biggest issue is facing the La Crosse area, our business community, and you can talk about Wisconsin as a whole, the La Crosse area?
Yeah, no, and I think we'll talk about it in a little bit too with some of the questions, but having the opportunity to talk to some of the business owners and area around here, like I just talked to the Builders Association not too long ago, NFIB, who I'm proud to have their endorsement. Talking to them, it's affordability. I mean, inflation is, let's not get started on that, is absolutely insane, and how much money and supply chain. Childcare is a big one. Just that is such a workforce issue that we're running into right now. Talking to these business owners and just, yeah, but affordability is a massive one. Inflation, and the prices of things, the supply chain, childcare. Man, you can go down the line of all the big issues that we're seeing down here in western Wisconsin, but in Wisconsin as a whole as well. But those are a few that we're seeing right now.
Yeah. I would agree with all that. I think
Yeah.
our members would too.
Yeah.
So the cost of healthcare, housing, and childcare are some of the largest issues facing our local employees and employers.
Yeah.
How would you help decrease these everyday costs?
Yeah. So actually, just talking to the Builders Association the other night, I really got a firsthand, and this is one of the biggest things that I'm coming through and trying to amplify is that I'm going to listen to the experts. The Builders Association were telling me so many of the problems that they're running into that we just kind of talked about, is the affordability and stuff like that. And they're giving me the solutions that they're seeing. And we talked about loans and several loans like that, but the housing market is in a crisis. That's something that the government can help with. And there's, insider baseball stuff with, the loans that they talked about. But one of the biggest things that I've heard from several different groups is government regulation. It is just overbearing right now. Whether it's the DNR or DOR or DOT or whatever it is, in whatever industry that you're in. I talked to the Matthews just not too long ago, and just how much of a mess we're seeing at the government regulation level, and the regulators down in Madison and DC who think that they know better than the business owners and the industry leaders and experts. That's one of the biggest issues that we're running into right now, and kind of just nipping that right in the bud. But healthcare is a big one too. Medicare, Medicaid, Badger Care. We see government, with all those programs, we see government, unfortunately, increasing prices. They're covering a portion of the cost. We have, like we said, we have Gunderson. Sorry, Amplify. Yeah, it's like Miller Park. I'm never going to be able to call it American Family. But, and Mayo, we have some of the best in the entire nation. We need to make sure that those costs are lower. And like I said, I'm going to go to the experts and figure out how to solve that problem.
Sure.
But childcare, oh man, everywhere I go and knocking on doors. So my team and I have knocked, I think, roughly 26,000 doors in our area. We knocked every door that we wanted to, and we're on our second pass. But one of the biggest things that we're hearing, especially from business leaders and just parents who are trying to get back to work, is childcare. We need to make sure that we have affordable childcare and quality childcare. It's something we're struggling with, but we see, and we can help with that. Tax credits, and we need to applaud businesses like Quick Trip who are offering childcare. That is a great system. Make sure that we support those businesses and able to provide that childcare and make it affordable and make it very high quality childcare, because it is a workforce issue that we're running into.
Yes. On that note, some of the other people we've talked to, and just this past week, the state auditor came out. They spoke about the $4.1 billion surplus. Can you give your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is one of the things that I keep talking about at the doors. That's your money. That's the taxpayers' money, and it's just sitting down there in Madison. I guarantee, and I've talked to business owners, they know how to spend their money better than the government knows how to spend their money. Bring it back to the taxpayers. You can't just have a massive, and don't get me wrong, we need a rainy day fund, right? For major issues that we just ran into a couple years ago. It was poorly spent, and I will differ with the governor and how he spent a lot of that money. But we see this massive amount of money just sitting down in Madison, not working for you. Put it back into the taxpayers' pockets. It's a no-brainer for me.
Sure. So my last question is, in an increasingly polarized political climate, voters are concerned about the lack of civility and collaboration among elected officials. How would you work to foster a culture of respect and constructive dialogue within the state capitol? And how would you engage with constituents who hold opposing views to ensure their voices are heard?
So along with those 26,000 doors that we've knocked, you'll get some differing opinions, as in doors slammed in your face. This is something that I've been telling people at the doors. I think it's time to push out that old-timey politics that we've been seeing over the last decade or two. And now I'll kind of defend my position, because don't get me wrong, this is both sides. It's like this right now when it comes to politics. People are, if you open up YouTube or TV, you're going to see hit ads. Unfortunately, they work, and that's too bad. But I will defend my side and say the gloves were off when he came after me personally, and he came after my family. This was 2 years ago. It's unfortunate that it gets to that. So we're going after his record, his voting record, my opponent, and he's coming after me personally. So the gloves were off on that, and it's unfortunate. And hopefully, when I win, we can go back to the clean and push that out, because this, I think, as a generation, a younger generation, I think we're sick of seeing that, and it's unfortunate it's gotten to that point. But when I worked down in the legislature for a couple of years, I was able to work with several Democrats and people from both sides of the aisle. It was awesome. We worked on several bills on both sides of the aisle and bipartisanship. Now, you can call bipartisanship, you're not tracking the scoreboard, right? You can call yourself bipartisanship when you're supporting a bill that makes wild parsnip the state flower or something like that. Yeah, that's an easy bill to do. But when it comes down to the tough votes, you're not seeing the bipartisanship down in Wisconsin and Madison. You see this just nonstop. The governor, the legislature, nobody, the Republicans and Democrats are not talking to each other. That needs to go. That needs to be one of the first priorities for both sides, and especially with a smaller majority on the Republicans in the legislature. You need to make sure we work with the Democrats and work with both sides. And don't get me wrong, I'm talking to all these groups that I've talked to. You have both opinions, both sides of the opinions. I'm going to come to them still. The experts, they know best of what we should be doing down in Madison. I'm going to listen to them and hopefully represent them down in Madison, and hopefully represent them pretty well. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming to the lacrosse chamber today and answering some of these questions.
Yeah.
I'll turn it back over to you and let you give an opportunity to give a closing statement.
Yeah. So we actually had Governor Thompson here yesterday, and one of the biggest things is making a plan to vote. We ran into this 2 years ago where we had people standing in line for 3 hours in sleet and rain. We can't have that. Make sure you have a plan to vote. Vote early. It opens October 22nd. I'm not sure when you're putting this out, but make sure you have a plan to vote, and get your friends and families to vote. It is your civic duty. I mean, this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime, and make sure we know why we're voting and who you're voting for. When it comes to policies, I think we're on the right side of things, my team and I, but make sure you have a plan to vote. That's the biggest thing that I'm going to push. And let's put Western Wisconsin back on the map, man. Let's be loud. Let's be proud to be from Western Wisconsin in the Coulee region.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Ryan
Thanks.
Huebsch, running for 94th Assembly District.
Thanks.